Welcome to the Financial G-Spot. I'm Robyn Crane, and today's episode, I have a special guest here, Dawn. What's your last name, Dawn? Dawn Gomez. As you can see, this is real life. We have never met before. No smoke and mirrors here. This is all true. All I know about you, Dawn, is that you have some issues around debt. That's all I really know. And so I'm curious to learn more about that. And I got to tell you, Dawn, you are not alone. There are a lot of people out here, not just in the States, but around the world who have some debt issues. So this is going to be a great episode. Again, you're watching the Financial G-Spot on the Whatever It Takes network. And I just want to encourage you at home, if you haven't gotten my book yet, to make sure you get it. You can get it right from Amazon. You go to Amazon, look up Mind Over Money Management. And if you have debt issues or you just want more money, you want to grow your money, it's really around your beliefs and behaviors, like whatever's holding you back to really break through so you can have what you want. And that's what this show is all about. So definitely get that book if you don't have it yet. You can get it on Kindle for like $3. So not making millions off you here, but I want you to have the life that you want. So great. So Dawn, tell me about your challenge, and I'm curious what's going on. And I love to hear how it happened too. If you want to give me a little bit of detail.
Sure. I'm a divorcee. That's the big point. Okay. I have children.
Two?
That are grown. And I have an autistic child who doesn't work, which does get state funding. I have a younger child who has two children of her own, so I'm Alita. And because of the circumstances, she lives with me. So I, in essence, take care of 5 people.
Wow.
And yeah.
So you're a young grandma. And you look very young for a grandma. You look amazing. And how old are the 2 little kiddos?
5 and 2.
5 and 2, and they're living with you. And then you have an autistic child. How old is your daughter or son?
Daughter. She will be 28 in December.
28. Okay. And she has some help from the government, but basically she's living with you. Okay.
Yes.
So you got your hands full.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes. I was working full time. I'm now doing Uber.
Wow.
Because I lost my job. But it just seemed like even prior to the job loss, I was just drowning in debt, no matter what I did. And I had lost for what else I could do. Like, do I get 6 jobs?
Sorry, hon. You got all garbly a little bit. This is what happens sometimes with Skype. You lost your job, I heard, and then you went to Uber, but even when you had your job, you were drowning in debt. What did you say after that?
Yeah, and I didn't know whether I should get 6 jobs. I'm thinking of filing bankruptcy, which I think is kind of like a kiss of death, so to speak. So I don't know, should I file bankruptcy and keep it going? Should I just take on extra jobs and try to pay down my credit cards and my student loan and the various other entities that I owe? My mind is clogged right now of what to do. I feel like I'm in a rock and a hard place, really, literally.
All right. Okay, I gotcha. So tell me, how much debt do you have? Can you tell me?
My student loans is $46,000. My credit cards I try not to use my credit cards too much, but it's about $10,000 combined. Okay. And a car note is very expensive. That I owe total payout would be $26,000.
And what do you pay? What do you pay per month on that?
Oh God, $579 per month.
Wow, what do you got?
It's just a Chrysler 200, but I'm upside down because when my daughter had her second child, we had a small Aveo, and we couldn't fit all of our bottoms in that car with the baby, so we had to kind of get a bigger car. But they saw me coming, basically. They
saw her coming. They saw her coming. All right, sorry, that just reminded me of that song. Okay, do you know? I think that's from Chicago. So, $579 a month because you were upside. I don't really understand. How were you upside down in that?
I owe $13,000 on my Aveo, and so when I bought the new car, they tacked on that loan to the new. So now.
And it wasn't worth even what you owed?
No, it's just.
Lord. Okay.
I had a higher interest rate prior, so I did drop an interest rate. I went from 24% to 15%. It's still a lot. Right. And I'm like screaming because I just want to live comfortably. I find myself robbing Peter, Paul, and Mary and Joseph. And
yeah.
I don't.
Okay, so awesome. I'm just writing notes so I can really help you. So you got a student loan, 46K. You got 10,000 in credit card. You got a car loan up the wazoo, 26K. Anything else? Any other debt?
I did. Let's see. I can't. No, that's pretty much it. I do pay an exorbitant. I'm trying to change phone plans because I pay like $300 a month for my phone plan. Wow. Yeah, I put people's children through college at the phone company, but I want to return to school. I'm afraid I can't because if I take out more loans, then I'm going to get
I'm sorry, hon. I missed that part. What was the last thing you say? You want to do what?
So I can return to school. And finish off my nursing career.
Nursing school.
But I want to return, and but I'm afraid because I'm like, well, then I'm going to incur higher debts, and then I'm going to be right back into where I am.
All right, gotcha. Okay, cool. Well, thank you for all that. Thank you for that honesty. I know we have to go to a break already so soon, right? But so what I'm trying. So I'm telling you what I'm doing. So for the first step to anyone getting ahead financially is to really get clarity. So right now what I'm doing is just getting clarity. So I want to start because the thing that you want is to get out of debt. I need to know, well, how much debt do you have? So the next thing we're going to do when we get back is to get clear about what your cash flow looks like. So how much is coming in, how much is going out, and whether you're going deeper into debt or whether you're actually a little, you have a little bit of room there. And that's what we got to figure out. So again, you're watching the Financial G-Spot here on the Whatever It Takes Network. I'm Robyn Crane, and we'll be back after the break to really get clear on Dawn's cash flow so she can get ahead instead of falling behind. See you after the break. Welcome back. You're watching the Financial G-Spot here on the Whatever It Takes Network. I'm Robyn Crane. Again, I always forget to mention my book. So today I decided that I'm going to make sure to mention my book. And I'm not going to mention it once, but I'm going to mention it at least 3 times. So Dawn, help me out if I forget. But because I made this, I wrote this book really for everyone out there, whether you have money, whether you don't. But if you want more or you feel like you don't have enough, this is like a perfect book for you. And I took what I do with my private clients and I charge a pretty penny for that. And I gave it all away. I really taught like all the things I do. How do you track it? You might be wondering, Dawn, like how do I track my money? How do I look at my money? Because there are all these tools out there. You got mint.com, you got online banking, you got FinanceWorks, you got QuickBooks. There are all these tools out there. But what people don't realize, even if they track their money, is that these tools are more like a gathering tool, but it doesn't actually train your brain to shift your behaviors. And what's happening when you want anything in your life to change, 2 things have to happen. You either need to change your beliefs or you need to change your behaviors. So what I'm trying to discover with you, Dawn, is like, what is it that we need to focus on? It's a Financial G-Spot, right? So what is that we need to focus on so that you can get ahead instead of behind? And you've been struggling. You said even when you had a full-time job, you were struggling just as much. So this is like kind of like this thermostat thing, right? Where you've been used to being broke. And I talk about this in my book, which again, you can get at Amazon, Mind Over Money Management, Strategies Your Financial Advisor won't give you. But there's this thermostat, right, where you've been surviving. I've said this before on my show because, this is everybody, whether you're surviving at $1 million or you're surviving at negative $1 million, you're surviving, and because of that, your brain thinks I'm safe. And what happened is you had a job, you were making more income, you were surviving, and survival for you was being in debt and still living and somehow managing, right? And then you lost your job, now you're Ubering, so I'm sure your income is cut down quite a bit, and you're somehow surviving. But something's changed, and I don't know if you're getting more in debt or what's happening, but that's what we want to figure out. So thanks for being a great guinea pig here, and it's smart of you to get help so you can actually turn this around. So we talked about your debt, and you're about 80K in, right? Yeah, it's about 80K, a little bit more. Now, let me just give you some positive feedback first, okay? What's great about this is that this is somewhat contained, okay? We don't know your cash flow yet, so until I know your cash flow, I don't know how contained it really is because it's a very slippery slope, right? If you're going into debt every single month, before you know it, 80K is 100K. It's very, very fast if you're living, depending on what your expenses are. But looking at just your debt, what I see is a student loan, that's contained. Are you actually paying money down on that, or are you not?
I had to actually go through forbearance. I actually asked for help because I just couldn't afford the payment.
Okay, so you basically are not paying it down right now?
Right. I'm not paying it down. So it's accruing the interest and all that good stuff.
Oh, good stuff, huh? Really? Why is your brain saying all accruing interest and all that good stuff? That's not good stuff. That's bad stuff. Interesting.
Nothing being facetious.
Oh, okay. Facetious. Okay. All right, I gotcha. Okay, and then your car loan, you're paying that each month? Otherwise, I'll take your car. So you are paying that. So somehow you're managing $579 a month, which is a mighty monthly car loan. And then your credit card debt, are you paying the minimums at least?
Yes, I was paying the minimums. I haven't this past month because I just don't have it. So it's,
okay. So that's a no-no. I know you feel like you have no control, but we got to figure out how to make you more money, because if you're not paying your minimums, then you're going to be charged a fee, and then it's just like this down. I mean, that 10K will just grow so fast. It's not funny. Okay, so what's your cash flow look like? How much do you make on a monthly basis?
I personally I was bringing home at one point $2,600 a month.
Okay.
It may be 13 now.
All right. Just because I don't have cleavage, I have to enjoy yours. Is that okay? Is that weird? This is the financial G-spot. I can say inappropriate things, right? It's my show. I can do whatever I want. That's right. All right. So we're getting all right. So we're talking about cash flow here. 13. So now you think you're at 1,300, but you don't really know, or you're pretty sure it's 1,300.
Because it fluctuates with Uber, so I'm averaging about $370 a week.
Okay.
Something like that, so it can fluctuate. If I don't go out, whatever the reason, then it'll drop, or if I go out more, it'll increase.
Okay, so why the hell aren't you going out more if you can increase it?
Well, because I also watch my daughter's children while she's trying to work and go back to school. My oldest child, her SSI goes towards certain bills too, like for her and for the household, which is about $600 a month.
That's for your autistic daughter?
Yes.
That you have to pay out of pocket $600 a month?
I'm sorry, say again?
You have to pay out of pocket $600 a month for your daughter?
No, she gets.
Oh, she gets it. Okay. Got it. Okay, so that's income. So you got $1,300 sometimes, $600 from your daughter, and then what about the one that's working where you're watching the kids? Does she contribute to the household?
Pays for the food, thank God. Like, she buys all the food in the house.
Okay. She pays for food. All right, so you have essentially $1,900. So what I'm doing, by the way, I'm just using a little post. It doesn't have to be like super crazy. I'm doing what I've taught this before on some of my shows. Some of you might have missed it. Of course, it's in the book. But what I'm doing is your money mask. Okay, your money mask is how much you make minus how much you spend equals how much you keep. MSK. There's just a little A in there that doesn't exactly exist. But make, spend, and keep. So what I'm trying to figure out cash flow, which just means really like if you're spending more than you make per month, is how much do you make minus how much do you spend? And that's going to be what you keep, which is your cash flow. So right now I have $1,900 if you're really bringing in $1,300. Now what I would encourage you to do, and everybody out there, is to really track every single month how much actually comes in, how much goes out. Now if your other daughter is paying for food, it would be a good exercise for her to do on her own as well, but you don't have to add that in. Like, don't add the food as an expense if you don't add the income, because then it's not accurate, right? So if you take $1,900, how much are you spending? Like, what's your rent? You have rent or mortgage?
Rent is $1,100.
$1,100, and then you got $600 going to the car. Anything else? I mean, there's got to be phone.
My telephone.
What's your cell
phone? About $300.
$300, and that's just your cell phone, or that's the whole family cell phone?
Everybody's playing together.
Okay, and they're not paying you for that?
No.
Because mama and grandma's going to take care of everybody, huh?
I'm doing it.
All right, so then you take care of everybody. So right now we're already at $2,000. So my guess is that you're definitely going into debt every single month, yeah? You're putting money on the credit card. Okay.
Yes.
You're watching the Financial G-Spot. We'll be back after these messages. See you in a sec. watching the Financial G-Spot here on the Whatever It Takes Network. I'm Robyn Crane, and I said I was going to promote my book, so here it goes. Mind Over Money Management. Get it on Amazon. If you don't have it, you're really missing out, I swear to you. It's enjoyable. It's an easy read, great stories, and most importantly, it will change your life if you let it. You got to do the exercises, but it works. Mind Over Money Management. Get it for a huge investment of $2.99. Okay, so there's my big promo. Wow, engaging. All right, so let's get back to it. All right, so it's time to get serious. You ready? Now that I have the numbers. And by the way, what I did with you is what everybody should do. First, you got to get clarity. You got to know, like, well, if you want to get out of debt, you got to know, well, how much debt do you have? If you want to get out of debt, you got to know what money do I have to put towards it, or am I going further in debt? So if we had more time, I would go through every expense. And what I'd encourage you to do is really get clear on this money mask, how much you make, spend, and keep. And put your expenses in categories. And you want to know exactly, and yes, it's a little bit of a pain in the butt, but you can actually, some of those online tools I mentioned, you can use as a gathering tool, but then put it in this money mask format, because this is the part that will train your brain. Also, your net worth, I talk about this in the book, but your net worth, knowing your net worth every month, which is basically how much you own, if you own anything, even the cash that you have, or your checking accounts, or your retirement if you got it, minus any of the debt and anything you owe, is going to give you your net worth, and that's going to tell you whether you're getting richer or poorer each month. So if this is over your head, anyone listening, don't worry, it's in the book, you can get it. So it's all there, but I just want to mention that because those two things are like two of the most important things to look at every month to make sure that you're going in this direction on the ups and not in this direction on the downs, okay? So you got to get clarity about your money, and you got to continue to have clarity. Now, what's going to happen is, let's say you realize you're negative $500 every month. Okay, kind of sucks, right? You already know you're in the hole, but now you know if you're negative 500, in order to break even, Dawn, I will ask you this crazy trivia question. If you're negative 500, in order to break even, how much do you need extra income each month? You are good at math, girl. Nice. $500, and she wins my book. Okay, no. So $500, right? So this is why it's valuable. Now your brain is going to start thinking, well, how can I earn an extra $500? I also want to compliment you that you lost your job, not that part, but that happens. But then you figured out a way. You figured out a way to get creative, to use your resources. You got this car that you're paying a whop load on anyway. Now you can drive around, driving people, get some income, and at least go less into debt every month. So now you got to get even more creative and figure out, how can you make more money? Okay, that's the first question you got to be asking yourself every day. What a lot of people do, Dawn, is they just allow things to happen to them, blame the world. Oh, I'm a divorcee, I have an autistic kid, my kids live with me, wah, wah. And I can only say that to you because you don't sound like you're the victim here. But people do that, wah, wah, wah. Oh, it's all happening to me. I will tell you all, and what am I? I wouldn't say guilty of this as well, but like this applies to me as well, I should say, is that you create your life, you create your world. Everything that's happening for you is happening because you put yourself in that situation. Even if it's someone else's fault, you've actually manifested it to some degree. That might sound woo-woo, airy-fairy to some of you, but it's true. That's what I believe. So that means, the great thing about that means that you can actually turn it around. So now it's time to get real. So tell me, what is your biggest challenge, frustration, or concern with how things are going right now?
Because I just turned 48 years old.
48? Wow, nice.
40.
Grandma, 48. Pretty good. That's young, girl.
I don't want to continue this in my 50s, my 60s, my 70s. I would like to one day be able to retire, if I do retire, but at least be able to take a trip when I want to. Go out to dinner when I want to, not worry about, oh God, if I spend it on this, I'm not going to be able to pay that. I'm tired of living paycheck to paycheck. I just want to do better, looking at how the other half of the world lives, and I'm not necessarily asking for, a palatial estate in Greece. I'm asking for just basics. I don't own my home. I would love to one day maybe be a homeowner. So this is different. I want to be able to not just survive. I want to be able to thrive. I want to actually be able to live. I feel like I'm not living right now. And that's my biggest concern. So if I could just eliminate my debt, and they always say that you'll always be in debt till you die, but
who says that? Who's they? Who says that you always be in debt till you die?
Well, I used to hear that. You'll be in debt till you die. Like,
who said that? Who's?
My grandma. My grandma used to say that. You'll be in debt till you die.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, maybe she was in debt till she died, huh? Is she still alive?
She wasn't.
She wasn't? But she just put that on you? Oh crap. All right. Let's prove her wrong here. Let's not be in debt till you die. Okay. So you said you want to take a trip. You want to be able to go out to dinner. You don't want to just survive. You want to, live, not living. I don't know what I wrote here, but basically paycheck to paycheck, living in debt, food to mouth. Okay, got it. So what does it say about you, Dawn? Like, if you were, no, let me ask you this. Let me ask you a different question. This is a weird one. What might you lose of value? Okay, something that you value if you were not in debt. And if you did have money.
What I lose in value? If I was not.
What would you lose of value? Something you actually value. You gotta dig deep for this one.
I am digging. Ooh, that's a good question. I think family time. I think I would be working so hard that I would have missed out on spending time with my family.
Got it. Okay. Do you think so? Do you get a lot of like attention or love for having some of these problems? Oh, Mama takes care of us. Mama's willing to sacrifice. Do they call you Mama? I don't know. They call you what?
My kids call me Mommy. The
Mommy?
babies call me Dita. Mommy and Dita. They can't say Lita, so they say Dita.
Dita.
I don't know. I'm hoping it's not a martyr syndrome. I see so many people who, they are very successful, but then their kids don't know who they are, or...
Got it. That's it. Okay, got it. Okay, so basically you have this conflicting belief, okay? This typically happens to people, is like, you're sabotaging your success because of that exact belief. The belief is that you're tying success, so you're saying success and having money and not being in debt means that I can't spend time with my family. Right? And because of that belief, you're continually sabotaging your success. And you see other people who probably are not a good example of like living life to the fullest, who have money, who spend time with their family. Like if you hung out with me, you'd be like, oh yeah, money's cool. I want more money because I just was in Peru. We're going to the Bahamas. We get to spend a lot of time with I spend a lot of time with my family, and I love it. And it's because I do what I love, and I make good money, and I have the privilege to be able to travel, and I have time because I don't work for someone else. I work for me. So if you were exposed to that more often, which like if you know people who have a lot of money and do spend time with their kids, that's the people you just start to hang out with. Or even, read about those people, read books about people really living their life to their fullest. Because you gotta scramble, you gotta demolish that belief that making more money equals less family time. In fact, making more money is going to give you more family time. And yes, you might have to put more time there, but here's the thing. When you are in debt and you are struggling financially, you're not fully present anyway.
Good point. Okay.
And you're totally stressed out, and you're not the real you because you have all this angst. And if you could just let go of that angst by just, when you have more money, you're being smarter about your money, then even if it was less time, even an hour less or 2 hours or 10 hours less, but then the time that you did spend with them was just totally present, free from the angst, the worry, the guilt, the shame, then it would be so much better because it'd be real quality time. Presence is huge. So that's a good takeaway for you. Also, what I find is that sometimes it's a temporary burst of time in order to get more time later. Because the truth is, if you continue this pattern, what's going to happen? You tell me. And what's going to happen with your time?
Well, if I continue this, I am going to probably, for one, the term lose it, because it's just become so stressful, as you just mentioned. And when you put it all out verbally, it makes sense that I'm literally just in constant anguish over my finances, you know, and staying up at night trying to figure out like what to do. I'm also an artist too, so it's like, okay, I know that that's my first love, but when I stop my first love and just, you know, take on 2 or 3 jobs, will that help? So I understand what you're saying, you're making perfect sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're in anguish all the time, what do you think, like, you're passing on to these grandkids and kids?
Pretty much the same pattern. Just, you know, you go into debt, you worry about it, and then life goes on, and then this next generation goes to debt, worries about it. It's just going to be like a constant spinning wheel.
Yeah. So are you committed to breaking that cycle?
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
It's not my way. So
it's what?
You know, it's not working my way.
Yeah.
So if you keep doing the same thing and it's not working, there's something wrong with you. So I have to figure out how to change it. So I'm hoping you're going to tell me.
I'll tell you exactly what to do, okay? I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. All right? I already told you the first thing. And you got to commit to this. Like, this is going to change your life. I swear to you, this will change your life. But you really have to commit to it. Are you willing to commit? Yeah? Okay, great. Now, you have to realize when you commit to something that, like, there are going to be points where it's uncomfortable and you're going to want to quit. You know, you're going to want to, like, say, oh, I don't need that, or it's not important because, you know, it's not working anyway. There's all these beliefs that you are already there that are basically just there to sabotage you and to keep you safe. Okay, again, I talk about this in my book. So it's like the back of your brain here, this part, we call it the lizard brain sometimes, is there. Its job is to keep you safe, and safe means to be surviving, not to thrive. There's nothing safe about thriving. Thriving is actually very scary. Your brain is like, no, I've never done that before. What if I actually have money? No, that means I'm not safe because I've never survived having money. I've only survived being broke and being in debt. So its job is to keep you safe. Safe sucks, but it keeps you alive, and that's its job. So you got to train your brain. Okay, kind of weird shit, right? But you got to train your brain. So how do you do that? One thing you do is you absolutely commit to monitoring your money. As bad as it gets, as good as it gets, doesn't matter. You have to see those patterns in black and white. That means numbers. That means how much you make minus how much you spend, how much you keep. If it's negative $2,000, you need to know that number because now you know the solution. The solution is to make more money, or the solution is to spend less money. So many people, I had someone on the show who was $800,000 in debt. You think yours is bad? She was $800,000 in debt, right? And she just told me, like, last month, she just bought $2,000 or $1,400 online of some Christmas lights or, I don't know, something crazy. In my mind, it was crazy because I don't understand why she's spending more money. But she just had given up. Like, she was just giving up. Like, there's no way she's getting $800,000. Like, you know, like, I mean, she can work, even if she worked for 10 years, she'd have to make $80,000 a year plus whatever her expenses are, right? So it's just, it was so far out, like, of her scope of survive. Like, she was surviving that. So, like, thriving was just impossible. Like, there was just no way, right? So she just kept sabotaging, right? So there's always someone worse than you. There's always someone better. You're in a place where there is no reason why you cannot turn this around. Student loans, it's just going to be a monthly payment that when you have the income and you're not going crazy and spending money on stupid shit, that you can actually have enough to pay it down. $46,000, that's, I don't want to make it less, like make it seem like it's not that big of a deal. It's a big deal, but like it's a payment away. So what do you need? $500 a month? Okay, great. Now you got to figure out what those monthly payments are, and then just figure out the, like, how long it's going to take to pay you back, pay it off. Your credit card debt, the problem is not that you have $10,000 of credit card debt. The problem is that you're not paying it down. even if you're paying the minimum, my guess is that you put stuff on the card, and you don't pay the minimum plus whatever you put on the card. Okay?
You're right.
So you gotta my guess is that you're not like going crazy spending money. You probably buy shit you shouldn't at times, but you're not going crazy. It's just that this is in my book, is that you're probably part overgenerous Olivia, and you're giving to your family. You're not expecting much in return, but then you're also secretly pissed that they don't give more. Overgenerous Olivia, right? So you need to start expecting not just more from you, but more from them. Okay? You can be great mommy who like takes care of the kids, but you don't have to like pay for everything. It's not helping them. They need to learn this skill as you do, and you tell them. You say, kids, we're going to do this together. I'm going to track my money. You're going to track your money. You're going to increase your income. Let's play a game. Last month I made $1,300. I'm going to play the game that I'm going to make $1,500 this month. What do you want to make? What can you do extra? You play that game too. Last month you made $500. Why don't you make $800? Let's all play the game, and we'll all contribute into the bucket. Since you're living with me, I need help. Let's get on track. You look at their debt. They look at their debt. Let's get the family together and break the cycle. Okay? Now that is super mom right there. That's you right now if you did that, just imagine, Dawn. I know I'm talking at you, but like I'm excited for you to do this. Okay, imagine a day like yesterday, right? You were just mom, grandma, in debt, not knowing any way to get your finances in order, thinking like it's hopeless, you're just like this forever. Grandma told you you're going to die with debt, right? You're going to be in your grave just like saying F you. I guess I can say fuck here. Fuck you to the credit card companies because you have to eat my debt now. I'm dead. Nanny, nana, nana, right? As if that's what you want. Yesterday, that's how it was. Today, you get to be super mom who teaches your whole family a new way of life. The cycle breaks. It starts with clarity. Everyone plays the game. Make more money, spend less money. What did you spend last month? Not to bitch at them and not to be like the annoying, mom who's like getting on them, but empowering everybody to come together. Let's build wealth, not create debt. Okay? So you start tracking. Then you got to get seriously creative. And you said, I noticed it, you said this, I did catch this, that you are an artist.
Yes.
Right? My guess is that if you can make twice as much money doing your art versus driving an Uber, you would love it. Yeah?
You have no idea. Yes.
Okay. So please, Dawn, don't give up on your dream. Okay? Keep driving your Uber until your income from your art either matches or exceeds it. But like, what kind of art do you do? What could you sell?
I do voiceovers, and I do that type of art acting and things like that too. So
cool.
I'm pursuing that. A little late, but I'm pursuing that.
Who cares?
So,
it's never too late. So you got to start looking at ways that you ask these questions, not like, oh, how can I get a voiceover? How can I start making money doing what I love? I want one job. I want to play the game. I want to bring $500 in next month doing voiceovers. And you're going to spend a little less time with your family because you're going to be spending time doing what you love. And you know what's going to happen? The time you spend with your family, now because you're lit up, because you're doing what you love, and even if you got $100 or $50, you'd be a new woman, right?
Yes.
You'd be like, I'm the woman, I got this voiceover, whatever. You're like, and they're like, Grandma is awesome. She's excited. She's in her passion. Now, they don't need all the time. They need you, your essence, your true essence, and your passion back. Because anguished grandma and anguished mommy, it's like sucks. No one wants to be around that, even though they love you, right? So you start getting creative, and you go and make $100, and then you go and make $200, and you go and make $500, and you say, you know what? I'm going to have to figure out something creative. These kids are going to go with the neighbors sometimes. We're going to start to exchange or find some other friends so I can go drive that damn Uber and start talking to people in the Uber. And guess what you're going to talk about? What do you think you're going to talk about in the Uber?
My art and my voice.
Yeah. Okay?
Yes.
Use the Uber as a lead magnet. That means a lead generation tool to get you to somebody. Someone in that Uber knows someone else who knows someone else who knows someone else. And that's your ticket. But if you just talk about driving you to, I don't know where you live, but driving you to the city, blah, 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 here's your whatever. When I get in an Uber, they don't talk to me, but sometimes they do, and I'm like enjoying it, you know? And if they tell me what they're passionate about, if I knew someone to help them, I would.
Good point. That's a really good point. You're on the money. Okay.
I am on the money. That's why they pay me the big bucks. All right. So here are your takeaways. And I actually just did a call with this guy Mason Taylor. So now I got to make sure his episode goes on first. But I just did a call with Mason Taylor, and he's a health guy. He's a health coach, and he's incredible. And he lives his whole thing. And I'll give you this one last tidbit, and then we got to go. I know I'm way over time. But his whole thing is that when he's in his essence doing what he loves and really like talking about these superfoods, like everything, he's so passionate about the water you drink and this and that. And he's like, when he's in that space, his business starts to take off. It's just creating this energy that's in the right field instead of anguish and worry. It's just passion and love. And it sounds super cheesy, I know. I just got back from Peru. What can I do? But he lives in that essence, and then business comes to him. And it doesn't mean he doesn't do shit. You know, he's like working his ass off, but he's working his ass off doing what he loves. And even sometimes things that he doesn't, just a little bit so that he can attract what he needs into his life. And when you're in that energy, you're going to start to attract more into your life. Okay? So trust me, go try it. But don't stop doing some of the crap, like the driving and whatever, but turn it around in your head to be, instead of being a job that you have to do, think of it as a lead source, lead generation. And you might talk to 100 people before you get one. But I'm telling you, if you're talking about passion and what you do and how you, like, what you want, who you're looking for, 1 out of 100 might give you someone who's going to make you $5,000 or $10,000 or help you get on your feet. Yeah?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I never saw it that way. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Really.
Well, thank you for joining. I know, like, this was definitely one of those episodes where I talked a lot. Sometimes I'm, like, more, like, engaging, and I want to thank you for allowing me to. But there was, like, I don't know, something about your essence, your beauty, and just, like, your openness for me to just allowing me to just teach a little bit to you and really knowing where that space is, and then to the audience, too. So thank you for being here and being open and being real. And I can't wait. Please come back to the show, and I'll let you talk more and tell me how it goes. Okay, but come back and.
So thank you so
much.
Yeah,
absolutely, my pleasure. Well, and for those of you out there, thank you for watching the Financial G-Spot. I'm here every week on the Whatever It Takes Network. Almost couldn't say that. And again, if you haven't gotten the book, please get it. If you get it and you don't see that your life changes, let me know. I'd be so curious, because I really have not had anyone use that information and be able to shift their life. So I hope you do that. Mind over money management. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you again next week. Thanks, guys.
The Financial G-Spot is also available for download on iTunes and Stitcher. See the link in the description below.